and welcome to PhotoNewsTV. I'm your host, Will Prentice, and today I've got a special episode for you. I've got the brand new Tamron SP35 1.8 DI-VC USD and the SP45 1.8 DI-VC USD. These phenomenal new primes from Tamron are a step in a new direction. This is the company that brought us the 24-70 2.8 VC, the world's first pro-level 24-70 with VC, the 70-200 VC 2.8, the 150-600 is another phenomenal Tamron lens. And again, recently Tamron brought out the 15-30 2.8 with VC, the world's first ultra-wide with stabilization. And that was a game changer. So now we're looking at two 1.8 primes with VC. And I know a lot of people say, well, what's the point in VC? I don't need IS if I've got a fast lens, if I have a 1.4 or 1.2. The great thing is with the VC, the stabilization, it allows you to get shots you normally couldn't. You can handhold down to half a second. I'm sure there's some photographers out there that'll be able to handhold with this lens even longer than that. And where that's handy is places where you can't get in with tripods. The other nice thing with VC is for those who are shooting video, as you'll see in the follow-up here with all of the samples I shot today, the VC on the video really steadies things. It's not the same as having a glide cam or a steady cam, but it certainly makes handhold video look a lot nicer, and that's a great feature to have on here. Now, as you can see, I was so excited to get out shooting with these lenses. Yeah, I didn't really shave today, but that's okay because I had a lot of fun shooting. I've only been able to keep these lenses for a day, so I was very limited in what I could do. So in my comparisons today, the other thing that I looked at was the Nikon 50 1.4, which on its own, it's a pretty decent little lens. Out of the 50s available for Nikon, it's not the best, it's not the worst. My particular copy is in pretty decent condition. I haven't had to do an AF fine tune. It's pretty sharp. And I've compared both the 35 and the 45 to the Nikon 50. And I actually did aperture comparisons between the 50 and 45. So you can compare them side by side. And it's pretty impressive. One thing you'll notice if I take the hood off of the Nikon is the Tamron is quite a bit bigger. The 35 millimeter is a good, half-inch longer. And if we look at the 45, now we're looking at about a 3/4 of an inch there. So it's a little bit bigger. It's certainly larger. It's a 67 millimeter filter as opposed to the 58 millimeter of the Nikon. And of course, the Nikon doesn't have image stabilization. So that's already a bit of a knock in certain situations, even though it is a 1.4. And as you'll see from the images, the 1.4, that third of a stop, really isn't a big difference when you look at the stunning sharpness from these Tamrons. It's pretty impressive how sharp they are. So let's jump into some of these shots. I was able to do some street photography, some night photography. I had my wonderful model Queenie step in for a few portraits. My cat, of course, I was able to get a few nice pictures of her. So let's take a look at the results from this day with the lenses. So I hope you found that informative. I know some of the key takeaways that I have here from these lenses. The 35 on a full frame is a decent wide angle lens for a lot of purposes. It's a nice step up from the 15 to 30 if I'm carrying that ultra wide for a lot of landscape shots. It's great for astrophotography, as you saw. Coma, edge coma is a little it's a bit of a flat disc on the outside edges, wide open at 1.8. When I stopped the lens down a couple of stops, that edge coma was practically gone. And generally, that's what you're going to need to do anyways with most wide angle lenses to control coma. So that was a nice feature on the 35 and the 45, that coma is well controlled. Distortion, of course, as you saw from some of the outside shots, was really well controlled. And none of these photos have been touched in Lightroom. I didn't add any sharpening. All the color is left as is. There was nothing done. Every setting on Lightroom was set to 0, just to show off how great these lenses are. Because that sharpness wide open, wow! Those pictures that I took indoors in a not very well lit room of my cat at ISO 6400 are surprisingly sharp. So these lenses were really impressive, wide open at 1.8 for sharpness, distortion control. As you saw from some of the shots where I was looking at vignetting, it's very well controlled as well. Both lenses have about a third of a stop of vignette when they're wide open. Stop it down, not even a full stop, and the vignetting's gone. So they're a good portrait lens, they're a good landscape lens, they're really good for street photography because they are fairly small and portable compared to my 24 to 70 and 15 to 30. These lenses are a lot smaller, a lot more portable, easier to carry around all day. And again, it's that stunning image quality, and it didn't matter whether I was focusing far or near, and that close focusing is pretty incredible for a prime lens. Well, for any lens that's not a macro. So that was another really nice feature to have on there. And of course, with the B bar and E band coatings that are used throughout the lenses, ghosting and internal reflections, flare, that's all exceptionally well controlled. So these lenses, again, as you saw when I was pointing right into the sunlight, very well controlled, no unusual artifacts. So pretty impressive overall. I'm looking forward to seeing what else Tamron is bringing out. Based on these two prime lenses, though, I have a feeling primes are coming back because I'm tempted to start shooting with these more than I am my zooms. I really don't want to give them back tomorrow. You can find these at camera retailers anywhere. Also, if you just want to go ahead and grab one, the links are down below. There's more information below as well. So don't forget to click the subscribe link to stay on top of further information I've got coming for you. Click the like button. We appreciate all the love you're showing us. Any comments, please leave them down below. We'll be sure to answer. Happy shooting.